I call Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to take a call for the Greens on these two pieces of legislation, the Marine Transport Amendment and the Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf Environmental Effects Amendment Bill. Our position is that we will be supporting this legislation. We do have some concerns, particularly about the amendments to the EEZ legislation. However, I'll talk about that in a minute. Our position is that we believe that this legislation doesn't really go far enough in protecting the waters in our economic zone, or actually protecting the New Zealand taxpayers from paying the full costs of potential spills. Other speakers have already talked about the RENA and how this legislation should have been in place earlier in order to protect the taxpayer from paying the full costs of that clean-up. We do support legislation outlining the responsibilities of regulating maritime safety as a function of regional councils. And actually, it's heartening to see this government finally supporting some type of powers for local authorities, given that they haven't been terribly supportive around things like the Land Transport Management Act, the Housing Accord, the Local Government Act, or in fact the changes to the RMA, where local authorities have been shut out of decision-making time and time again. However, it was very nice to read Minister Collins' quote when she introduced the second reading of this bill, and she said that the bill enables regional councils to continue to regulate maritime safety and maritime-related activities in their regions, and provides for a stronger regime for the management of port, harbour and navigation safety, end quote. Certainly, where I live in the Hauraki Gulf, the local authorities have been active in negotiating around maritime safety, and in fact the Hauraki Gulf Marine Park Forum, together with the ports of Auckland and the shipping industry, and the Environmental Protection, the Environmental Defence, EDS, Environmental Defence Society, thank you, got together to develop protocols for the shipping industry around protecting the Bredie's whales that live in the Hauraki Gulf and frequently sleep very close to the surface of the water, particularly around the shipping lanes. And part of those protocols are that the ships will be slowing down to about 10 knots, which is a major step forward. And I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the work of advocate Dr. Rochelle Constantine, who has been ceaselessly advocating for these mammals in the Hauraki Gulf for many years. So we finally managed to get some success there. The Greens do, of course, agree with the provisions with the drink driving of ships and the limits there for ship captains. And we do also acknowledge the anomaly that we see with drink driving on land, which has not actually come through at all. We support the penalties and prescriptions around overloading of ships, bringing us into line with some of the international conventions. And of course, we agree with acceding to the other international maritime conventions. What we're not happy with is the amendments in the, around the economic zone, our exclusive economic zone, which allows for exploratory drilling as a non-notified discretionary activity, because we see that once more as another lack of democracy, and that's been a common theme that this government has pushed through in piece of legislation after piece of legislation. And we note that that provision came through as an amendment through the committee of the whole House, so it wasn't actually open for submission during the democratic process that we have to enable legislation in the first place. And that really does mar some of the better provisions that have been pushed forward, like the restrictions around waste dumping. That was an amendment that came through from Select Committee. So we will be supporting this bill, but we do have some reservations.
I call Jamie Lee Ross. Members, this debate is concluded. The question is that the Maritime Transport Amendment Bill be now read a third time. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Transport Amendment Bill, third reading.
The question now is that the Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf Environmental Effects Amendment Bill be now read a third time. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. A party vote's called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 in favour.
New Zealand First.
6 in favour.
Māori Party.
3 opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New
1
Zealand.
in favour.
United
1
Future.
in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 82, the noes are 37. The motion is agreed to.
Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf Environmental Effects Amendment Bill, third reading.
Call on Government Order of the Day number 4.
Right.